Welcome back to the No Money Spent series on MLB The Show. We're on episode 16, and I'm going to start on the market, and I wanted to talk about flipping. I'm going to get into flipping a little bit more this year. So essentially what it is, and this is what I have time-lapsed, you basically are just finding profit margins, and you're putting in buy orders and then selling them through sell orders. And those margins, if big enough, you can net quite a bit of stubs. So I will be flipping in the future. The Orioles are a really great team to do because, first off, their bronze cards are super expensive, and they flip really easily. Like, they rotate a lot because a lot of people want to do the collection. So they end up rotating really quickly. People want to sell them to you because they're pretty expensive bronzes, so a lot of people will just straight up sell them. And then you can buy them, and people will buy them, obviously, for that collection. So it's a really easy way to make stubs. You do get undercut a lot, so that is tough, but it's really hard to lose stubs on flipping, and I think that's why I like doing it. So I ended up flipping here. It doesn't get you XP, which is the one thing that sucks, but if I can get even a fraction of the way to 70,000 stubs through flipping, I'm going to take it. We're going to get into an online game and debut this Walter Johnson on the bump, the division reward for the AL Central. Super stoked to see what he can do on the mound. This guy's team is not fantastic. He does have Ohtani on the mound. He has that Gary Sanchez, the Brian Anderson team affinity. Definitely the first time I've played him online. Plus Granderson and that Diamond Sheffield. But mostly he's got an all-gold squad, and we should take care of him. His record is also pretty terrible, 11-13, so he's a losing record online. I really need to go ahead and get this W. Walter Johnson ends up taking forever to play with. I have to admit his pitch release sucks. It's really annoying to play. It reminds me so very much of Warren Spahn from a few years ago. Eddie Matthews ends up missing that fly ball. So the likelihood that I use this Walter Johnson a lot is probably pretty low because, he doesn't have a slider. So I don't know how much I'll use him, but definitely nice to debut him and see how he does. That curveball is really nasty. Now, I was having a lot of trouble hitting Shohei Ohtani this game. It felt like I just couldn't touch him for the first few innings. JT Real Muto ends up flying out. I just got under the breaking ball. But Mitch Garver steps up to the dish, and that's right down the line. The shifts ends up working. Eddie Matthews ends up throwing him out, and then that was an absolute rip. But thankfully, Curtis Granderson gets to the baseball. It's about time. I'm tired of Curtis Granderson not getting to the ball. But he actually makes the play in the field there, and in steps Ohtani, who's not exactly a free out. I mean, you can just see how terrible this windup is to do all game. And Ohtani barely misses that curveball. Luckily, we do get out there with Buxton. Really nice to have him roaming center field. Curtis Granderson now steps up. Curtis Granderson squares up a baseball. The first one of the game we really squared up, and that's going to leave the park. Feels really good to touch Ohtani. Now let's keep building on it. A little bit later in the game, Matt Olson, I just missed that ball. That was a little bit too high to get. Didn't look like he was going to lock on, but he did end up doing that. And Walter Johnson, again, a bunch of fly balls in this game, but none of them have gotten out so far. So I'm super happy about that. He seems to be holding his own. His stats seem to be reflecting his card. Like I said, the only problem is, this windup it's brutal, man. It is brutal. Granderson ends up lining one again. Thought I wasn't going to get an animation. Buxton does end up getting one. Eddie Matthews now in for his second plate appearance and fly out. I'm having a lot of trouble hitting this Ohtani. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know why this game in particular. I was having some trouble. But in steps Tatis. We're looking to hit a baseball, and we just got under it again. So I've missed quite a few baseballs just getting under it. And when Ohtani hits triple digits, man, it is rough. He's one of the better cards in the game. That's super easy to get, especially for pitchers. Walter Johnson, though, elevating on Aaron Judge. And we end up gunning him down. And up to Tatis, we get him 2 on the high cheese. So now we gotta score some runs. It's the 5th inning. Haven't done anything else. Granderson trying to replicate his earlier performance. And there we go. A no doubt shot. Perfect. Opposite field home run. Feels really great to see that. Unfortunately, that would end all the offense for the 5th. Into the 6th, we get Mitch Garver on the changeup. Inside, we get Brian Anderson with a pitch. We end up plunking him, so that's going to be the first base runner of the game for this guy. And now this is Walter Johnson, in my opinion, at his strength when there are runners on base. Once somebody has seen that long windup all game, it is very difficult to hit this off-speed pitch, man. Like those, they just break. So really nice to see that. Sheffield ends up hitting one, and Tatis can't corral it. So that's going to give him yet another base runner. And now we got to focus up Jesus Sanchez, 3-2 count, but we get him on the curveball, and we get out of the 6th without any damage done. Matt Olson now takes that fastball. That got way too much plate. That's a no doubt tater tot from Matt Olson. Now we got 3 runs, all on home runs, no hits. Let's try to get some base runners here, so these home runs are a little bit more meaningful. In steps Ozzie Albies, ends up taking that first high fastball, not going to go for it. Now I've seen the fastball, I'm ready. Ozzie Albies, the no doubt shot, and unfortunately he doesn't let it land. What a scumbag. He should have let the ball land, because that would have been my first home run with Ozzie Albies, but he didn't let it land. So that technically doesn't count, but just know that Ozzie Albies deserves a home run. We're up to 592. And I feel really terrible about this, but I forgot to hit the record button for the 2nd game. So I did play a 2nd game, but I didn't record it. It's completely my bad, but we're going to do these exchanges because I'm very close to the 400, I think it's 400 program stars in the first inning program. I want to get that done. I'm just selling Winkler there because he wasn't going to really be used for anything else. So now we're at 394. I'm hoping we get to 400 by the end of the 2nd inning, or rather by the start of the 2nd inning program. I'm hoping that we can get there. As you can see, I'm opening up the game log. We did end up winning. Here's the box score. Olson was an absolute monster. He had, I think, 2 home runs. Eddie Matthews had 3 hits. I feel so terrible, but I'm showing you guys the box score here. Willie Stargell ended up going yard. So this is Snell. I was not very successful with him. I don't really like his release at all. He seems to just hang everything for me. So I most likely will not be using Snell that much. I know a lot of people love him. I'm not personally a huge fan of his card, but who knows, maybe we'll figure out how to pitch with him. We end up getting Castillo out of that wild card pack and out of the gold player pack. I believe this is for the XP reward path. We end up getting Roberto Osuna, so I'm definitely going to make sure that we sell him. It's a cool little 2,000 stubs. And I'm also going to go ahead and sell Noah Syndergaard. We've had him in the binder for a while. It's about time we get rid of him. Just doing a little bit of spring cleaning. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I really do appreciate all the support. And I'm terribly sorry that the 2nd game did not record. I know I have to be better about that. But we finally get a game in. We get a W. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out. Peace.